I have a message for you. And I want you to like this page and share it because if you just strolling and looking at the internet, they've got all kind of stuff out here now. And I I I want to do something that people can use that would be of value to them because we're living in a time and an era that there's always something. Every day there's always something. And then knowing and facing the reality that life is like a roller coaster. Sometimes things go well, and sometimes they don't go so well. And there's some moments that you have that you celebrate after you've had a valley experiences of things going wrong. And then something happens and you realize God is still in charge, that you've been given grace. I want to talk to you about the fact that you are greater and stronger than anything that has been stopping you. I want you to like this page and share it. And and call some other people that are positive because I think that there's a shortage. I love watching people shout. And they got some. I saw a guy shouting at high heel shoes. I see people doing these new dances. Little children, they got their little step and everything going on. A lot of shouting, and that's a way of praise. And then bring the boots out and bring the fans out, all type of entertainment that's going on now and conversations about nothing. And I want to talk to you about you and about me. And the reason I'm putting myself in the equation, I'm in a new place in my life. I'm 80. And so when you get to different levels in your life, you start rethinking your life. And what am I going to do with the rest of the time that I have left? And how do I make that most impactful and be able to close in on achieving some things that I have not done yet? And I feel that one of the things that many of us do unconsciously, and I'm guilty of that as well, is not keeping into our mind, at the front of our mind, there goes a second, there goes another second, and all the power in the world can't bring it back. And about how to begin to maximize the time that we have left and how to begin to turn up the heat and close in on the things that we want to do with our life, because we only get one issue, one shot at this thing called life. It has no duplicate. And so how do we begin to use it to the best of our advantage and to those that we care about and for the greater good of all humanity? I want you to like this page and share it. And I'm going to talk to you about that you're greater than anything that has been stopping you. For 14 years, I used to go see various speakers, go to seminars and workshops, and I was sitting on my voice. I was not this guy that you now see. I used to be the assistant for people that spoke, run errands for them. I remember when I went to Chicago, after reading about a lady named Dr. Johnny Coleman at Christ Universal Temple Church in Chicago. There was an article about her in Jet magazine. And this church that she had built, a non-traditional church, a New Thought church. And I was just fascinated about the story and about her. And I flew there. And after seeing a very electrifying presentation by her, I decided that I was going to spend time in Chicago, and I volunteered to work in Christ Universal Temple Church and follow her around. And I met Reverend Ike. You can't lose with the stuff I use. I met a lot of fascinating people, but most importantly, I wanted to study her. I loved her style of speaking. She was very electrifying and non-traditional and had very high standards on how she did her services and the classes that she taught. And I became one of the students, and ultimately, I graduated from the Universal Foundation for Better Living. And that gave birth to this Les Brown that you now see, the time that I spent there and studying under her leadership. And one of the things I realized about her that really fascinated me, she was unstoppable. There was a piece of land that she wanted, and she had not negotiated and went through all the changes to get the land. But she was so determined to get that land, and she had visualized it, and all the principles that she was teaching us to do, she applied that. And unbeknownst to us, she called a conference, a news conference, and had the congregation out there, and had a shovel to break dirt on the land that she's going to build the church, only to find out she didn't own that land. But she was so bold to someone who owned the land gave it to her. She was something else. Dr. Johnny Coleman. Some of y'all know Dr. Johnny Coleman. I'm a Johnny baby. But I love that level of courageousness, that level of boldness, and the standard that she had and how she taught, and constantly reminding people that you have the power in you to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. And she wrote a book called It Works If You Work It. There are things that I'm teaching and they work, but you got to work them. You've got to give God something to work with. And there I was, having this goal and dream of wanting to make a difference in people's lives, had a voice in me. I love helping people. I love making people feel good. I love to make people laugh. And I didn't harness my nerves. I allowed my nervousness and my fear to hold me back, because I don't have a college degree, and I felt like there's nothing I had to say or that people want to listen to me, because I don't have a college education. I still don't. And so I allowed fear to stop me. There's the scripture that says, choose ye this day whom ye shall serve. Everything in this thing we call life, it's a choice. And I got to this point where I decided that I have got to speak. I saw someone speak, and the room was as quiet as a graveyard between funerals. And I said to myself, if this guy can do it, I can do it too. And I stepped away from my fears and embraced my faith and belief in myself. And there's a saying that you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. If there's something you want to do, don't decide, well, how am I going to do it? Don't go there about asking how. Once you make the commitment, the how will come. You do what you can do, and God will do what you can't do. And this place where we are right now, this is a time that we have to commit ourselves to be unstoppable, to commit ourselves to use the tools that are available to us, be it artificial intelligence or strategic relationships, or upgrading our talents and skills to navigate this new place where we are, and decide that there's something out here beyond our comfort zone that has our name on it. You got to do this, because I believe that we're here on an assignment. As Dr. Miles Monroe would say, we've been deployed. We've been sent here. And there's something in you, there's something in me that we're supposed to do, that life is God's gift to us, and how we live our lives is our gift to God. Well, why is it that everybody's not doing it? Because we get caught up in this thing called life. Weapons of mass distractions, other people's stuff. And it's a time that we have to push back and get still. I remember talking to a friend of mine named Porky on Mount Vernon Avenue in Columbus, Ohio, when I was a disc jockey on WVKL radio station. I was going through some changes, and he asked me a key question. I was over at Toonie Sunoco service station in the drive-through they had over there at that time on Mount Vernon Avenue. And Porky, as I was talking to him about some changes I was going through, he asked me a key question. He asked, what are you going to do about it? Whoa. And I just came there to talk with him, just to spill my guts, just to get off my chest the things that I was going with. But when he asked me that question, that stopped me in my tracks. That reminded me of something that Churchill said, that the people who make it in this life, they look around for the circumstances that they want, and if they can't find them, they create them. That when we begin to realize that we have the power in us to deal with whatever is in our path, whatever that we have given permission to stop us, that many of us go through life, and I was among those, as a volunteer victim, would look at an obstacle or a setback or failure and thinking, this is the end of the story. I've done all that I can do. But the people who make a difference in life, The Nelson Mandelas who spent 26 years in prison to break the back of apartheid. The people that are able to make their mark. The people during the civil rights demonstration that said, we rather walk in dignity rather than ride in shame. That the things that we have gained and fought for, it didn't happen overnight. And people like attorney Joy Hunt, who went through a very painful experience, and she converted her pain into power and passion and purpose. What are you going to do about the things that you've gone through? I've gone through having my car repossessed or a foreclosure, the first home that I bought for my mother, and I lost it. But I didn't lose myself. I got another one. I kept on fighting. That this thing called life, you will fail your way to success. This thing called life, there are things going to happen that you won't see coming. People that you thought you can count on. People who are always there when they need you, but when you need them, you can't find them. What are you going to do about it? Because I believe that we have an assignment. And most people just wandering through life. Most people have not taken the time to sit back and learn, get still, get quiet, and say, speak, Lord, thy servant heareth thee. Oh, we put in these dance steps and how to maneuver and do various things to entertain ourselves, be it in a nightclub or in church, and bring the fans out, all that kind of stuff. But the real stuff, this stuff called life, and how we can begin to put in the work and the effort to create a better life for our children and our children's children. I have 15 grandchildren and 4 great-grands. And so what I'm doing now, the work that I have to do now, is to put in the effort to deliver a different world to them than the world that I'm now experiencing, because I'm still here. I'm still breathing. I still got a pulse. And I believe that all of us are here to live a life of contribution. If you identify with what I'm saying, I want to see some flames. I want to see some thumbs up. I want to see some hearts. If you can hear me, not in your ears, but in your heart, I want to know, am I talking to the right audience? Because it's easy to be entertained. It's easy to learn some new dance steps. It's easy to sit around and have conversation. Who's the GOAT? It's easy to become relationship experts. You got more relationships experts than ever before. It's easy to hoop and start talking. You know what? I know you got greatness in you. You don't hear me. But let me tell you something. No, it's easy to do all that. We've seen that. But I'm talking about what are the things that we are doing, what you are doing to move the needle in the direction of how we can maximize the impact of the time that we have left. But life is after us. Things happen. And that many times we don't see coming, like COVID. That disrupted our lives. And so now we have a choice to be a victim or to become a disruptor. So what are the things that you're looking at? What industry, what skill, what talents that you have, that you are going to plant yourself in a place to be a disruptor, that you're going to set new standards of how that work is being done? What is it that keeps you up at night? What is it that if you decide to do this, it will fill your heart with joy? It will ignite a spirit in you that you won't need an alarm clock to get up in the morning. Because this thing called life, sometimes you ask the question, why am I here? And you want some answers. And there's stuff that can happen to you that life will knock you silly. People disappoint you, turn their back on you. Your children start disrespecting you, and you're looking at them like, did I bring this home from the hospital? There must be some confusion up in here. It's if you understand what I'm talking about, let me know that I'm not talking by myself. You know that all this stuff that's going on right now, it's not mentally healthy. And the people that are going to turn what's going on right now into something that serves us all individually and collectively is that we hold ourselves to a higher standard and ask ourselves the question, what kind of legacy am I working on? What am I building? What is it that's going to be different? I remember something that one great Russian philosopher said, as I face inevitable death, what is the meaning and purpose of my life that will not be undone or destroyed when I'm gone? There are people that when they die, after 2 weeks, the conversations, the stories about them cease. I've been looking at letting some things go. I know that when I take my last breath, I got a lot of stuff around me. I know my children will say, "I'll put that in the trash can. I don't want to be sitting around here looking at dad's plaques and all the things he's done. I got my own life I want to live. I got my own awards that I'm going to get. And so I'm unloading stuff now because I know as soon as I'm gone, it's gone." And I told my children that one of the things I heard is not what you leave for your children, it's what you leave in them. That's very important. And one of the things I would say, think about something that's that you want to do. This stage of my life, I'm still speaking. This stage of my life, I'm still training speakers for the next generation of speakers. When Dr. Miles Monroe said to me, "Les Brown, there's no success without successors," I took that to heart. And so I'm still working. See, if you don't use it, you lose it. I still got assignments and things that I want for my grandchildren, want to spend more time with them and my great grandchildren so they don't have to live in a world that says, "Oh, I knew your grandfather," or I heard about your great grandfather and things that he did, but they didn't know me. They just heard the rumors, the stories. Like I heard the stories about my birth mother, Dorothy Bell Rucker, in Gainesville, Georgia. And not one story about my father. Papa was a Rolling Stone. Where he laid his hat was his home. I don't know anything about Oliver. That's what they call him, Oliver. I didn't know anything about him. No stories about him. But my mother, Dorothy Bell Rucker, she played the piano. She was a motivational speaker. She sang. She was a mentor. And she was involved in children, and she had children's programs in Gainesville, Georgia. And my grandmother, who spoke with Mary McLeod Bethune, and they have Dorothy Bell Rucker Museum along with Bertha. My grandmother, who really made a mark. They have the Rutgers Memorial Baptist Church in Gainesville. I look forward to speaking there. One time I did speak to about 5 people in that place, and I just have chill bumps saying that my mother stood here. Wow. And the Rucker family in Gainesville has been known for a long time. And so, but going back and looking at and going to Gainesville and went with my twin brother is because when Mama became pregnant, she went down to Miami to give birth to us and put us in foster care. And Mamie Brown, my adopted mother, she said, "I'll take those boys." You know, one of the biggest lies I ever heard: a woman can't raise a boy to be a man. My mother raised us to be men. And so here's something else. I want you to see that thing that you want, see it in your mind's eye. My goal was I wanted to buy my mother a home. And that was major for me. And I remember driving around North Miami Beach and took pictures of the homes that I thought she would like and got a contract and didn't have a dime to my name. But when it was time to close, I got it. There's some things that you can do that you will never discover that you can do them until you put yourself to the test. It's very important. As Dr. Miles Monroe would say, live full and die empty. I remember Dwight Pleasure. He went to the funeral of one of his uncles, and they said he died alone in the house. And Dwight and the other relatives said, "No, he didn't. When he died, a lot of dreams, a lot of one day I'm gonna, projects and ideas that he had, they died too. They went to the cemetery too." You know, have you known some people had all type of talent and potential, and they just kept on thinking like one day they're not going to be here, that they're going to live forever? We don't know how much time we have left. I feel very blessed to be 80. And I'm going to use this time to make a greater impact because I got more wisdom, I've got more knowledge, I got more experience under my belt. And when we look at life, Our goal is to use what we have to make a greater impact, to live a life that will outlive us. Now, here's something else. What are the experiences are you creating for the people that you care about? This hospice nurse, she took care of people who many of them were wealthy, and she listened to conversations, and most of them talked about if they had their life to live over again, that there were people that they didn't spend time with, people that they loved but they didn't know, and that they wish that they can go back to live their life again and spend more time with those people. But that's not a part of the game. That's not how this thing works. And so part of what I'm doing now, thinking about the experiences that I can create with my children, my grandchildren, my close friends, my close circle. What kind of experiences that I can create, that we can have some memorable things that we can enjoy. I told my grandchildren, they asked me, Papa, how do you think we should go in the future? I said, live your life the way you want to leave your life. Live your life the way that you want to leave your life, and you'll die a life of no regrets. Focus on creating experiences with the people that you love, with the people that's got your back and care about you, and they have demonstrated that. That's major. It's not the number of breaths that we take, but the number of experiences that we create that take our breath away. Here's something else. When you think about your life, if you died now, what is it that you would be upset that you didn't do? That you've been served notice, that you don't have that much time. I've given that a lot of thought. As a 39-year fourth stage cancer conqueror, I started thinking about things that I would be upset if I left right now, things that I had a heart to do and I didn't do it. And so now I put those on my bucket list. I put that on the priorities, the experiences that I'm going to create with certain people, friends I had not talked to in a long time, relatives that I don't know, that I've discovered, my birth family, that I want to know them and get them to know me. I met a cousin. He said, I used to see you on public television, and I had no idea that you were my cousin. Had no idea, man. And so I'm focusing on creating experiences. I'm going to be doing seminars and workshops in person. Why, Les? It's one thing to see me on a Zoom on the internet, and it's one thing for me to see your comments, but it's something else when we're in the room together. I could be in your face and you could be in my face. I can feel your energy and you can feel my energy. That's a different kind of experience. And they got so much fake stuff out. They got stuff they've been taking my voice and my image and put words in them. But this technology now is different. And I believe that as we get more into artificial intelligence, the premium things that's going to really pay off for speakers and trainers and coaches are the face-to-face communication, being in the room with the people that you want to help them to live their dreams. Being in the room, I want to talk to some young people and people who have goals and dreams and need some guidance and can save them some time and costly mistakes and money. People say experience is the best teacher. No, wisdom is the best teacher. And I believe that we owe it to ourselves, with all the things that's going on right now, that we develop mental resiliency to handle what's going on and not allow it to stop us from moving forward and pursuing our dreams, and not get caught up in the distractions and being manipulated by algorithms, and looking for ways we can upgrade our skills. Every day I'm learning a quote or a skill I can develop today that I didn't have yesterday, and developing strategic relationships, partnering with people that I've worked with, people that I've trained, and new relationships with people who have skill sets and knowledge that I don't have, that we can partner up and do some bigger things. There's 8 billion people on the planet. There's enough money out here for everybody. There's no competition. That we all have something we can offer each other. And there's so much backbiting and arguing and talking about each other. That's not going to get us to where we want to go and living a life that will outlive us and making a greater comeback. with our talents and skills and our knowledge, what that comeback power that we have, suffering from defeats and setbacks and moments when we were in the valley of life and we didn't know who we were, and got disconnected with our identity of why we're here, that there are moments that we need to stop and rethink our lives. And I'm doing that. I'm focusing on, somebody said, boy, you look good for 80. I said, thank you very much. But I work at this. Let me tell you something. Just because I'm 80 don't mean I have to look like I'm 80 and walking like some old man and don't know where I'm going. No, that the life is a fight for territory. And once you stop fighting for what you want, I'm walking up and down the steps. I'm exercising. I'm working with light weights. I was trying to start doing, I used to do 146 push-ups on stage. And one day I decided I'm going to get back to that level. And that particular day, I think I did around several sets, about 120 push-ups, not wall push-ups. I'm talking about straight up push-ups. And that next morning, my shoulder said, you know what, Mr. Positive Motivator, you might be 35 in your mind, but this shoulder is 80. Let me tell you something. You're going to be crying. You're going to be ugly. You're going to do that ugly crying, but snot coming out your nose because you hurt yourself. And I had to go to the hospital and went to the urgent care several times. And they said, what were you doing? I said, push-ups. A friend of mine named Ed Blood sent me a picture and he was all buff. I said, well, I'm coming for you, Ed. Yeah, no. Can't do it like I used to do. Make the adjustment. Make it okay. And do what you can do with what you got. As George Washington Carver said, do what you can where you are with what you have and never, never be satisfied. What is it you want? What is it you want to do with the rest of your life? Think about that. I'm working on my grandchildren's college education, so when they graduate from college, they won't be in debt like my children and my great-grands. That's what I'm working on. A good man leaves a legacy for his children and for his children's children. What project are you working on that will be your mark? What legacy are you going to live? Because after you get past a certain number, it's legacy building time. And that's what I'm focused on. There's speakers that I'm training now that get to see a future that I don't get to see. Speakers that I'm working with now and worked over the years that have passed me, and I'm proud of them. And I'm saying, you go now, come on now, you got it like that. And that's what we should do. This is what life is about. They asked Einstein, what's the purpose of mankind? He said, mankind was created for the purpose of mankind, that we are here to serve each other. The greatest among you will be your servant. Here's what I'm saying to you. You've got greatness in you. And that greatness is lying dormant in you. That greatness in you, that it takes time and effort and focus and discipline and dedication to cultivate it and to bring it out and put it to the test and to find out what you're made of. That's what life is about. I remember having a nightclub in Columbus, Ohio, and this guy, he was always coming in late and get wasted. But there's a quote he used I'll never forget. And it stays in my mind. Many a flower has bloomed unceasingly and wasted sweetness upon the cold desert air. This is in the 70s. He was an engineer, but because he was African American, he could not get a job as an engineer. And he eased his pain. He smothered this pain with drinking. He lost himself in that. And what he was saying to me, many a flower has bloomed unceasingly and wasted sweetness upon the cold desert air, that many a talented and gifted persons have gone unnoticed, and the world never heard from them, never saw their genius, never saw their artwork, never heard their voice, never had the chance to be in their presence and learn from them. We all know people like that. I remember in high school, there's a guy that played for Booker T. Washington High School, and they called him Breakaway. Every time he got the ball, he broke away. But Breakaway never really made the varsity because he got in trouble constantly. He had the potential, but he didn't have the discipline and end up spending the rest of his life in prison because he didn't have that focus and had the mindset of being zero in on what he wanted to do with the gift that he had. We've all seen people like that. We've all looked in the mirror at people like that. I look at my life. I know my daughter asked me, Dad, why are you still pushing? I said, because there's more in me. There's more in me I want to do, but you've done a lot. I said, not as far as I'm concerned. Whatever I've done, I know that there's more in me. I know there are times I've flaked out on myself. I know there are long periods of time that I was insane and misdirected. I know that I could have done more. And so I'm holding myself accountable. What is it that you're going to hold yourself accountable? I'm not talking to everybody. I'm not talking to the masses. No. This is not a Shay Shay and Cat Williams conversation. No. I'm talking to those of you who feel there's a calling on your life. I'm talking to those of you that feel that your life has meaning and purpose. I'm talking to those of you who have a hunger to live a life that will outlive you. I know there are some of you who are listening to me now that had those moments like I've had where I said to myself, there's got to be more. There's got to be. This just can't be it. You have something special. You have greatness in you. And ask yourself the question. Think about the goals. Think about the talents, abilities, and things in you that you've been putting off. And ask yourself the question that Porky asked me. What are you going to do about it? You were chosen. Out of 400 million sperm, God had a lot of choices. You're an unrepeatable miracle. There'll never be in the history of the world another you. You're a masterpiece because you're a piece of the master. As my mother would say, Mamie Brown, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Oh my God. Oh boy, Mama had those things. I like your thoughts. And send me some quotes. I like to speak off them and share some ideas on them. They stimulate me. I love quotes. And those of you that have a story, those of you that will learn how to make yourself irreplaceable in the age of AI, those of you that have something in you that said, I got this story in me. I've gone through some stuff and like attorney Joy Hunt, I'm gonna turn that pain into power and passion and purpose. Can you help me get my voice out there? Yes, I could hook a brother up. I could hook a sister up. If that's you and you're ready to put in the time and effort and invest in yourself, email me at lesbrown77@gmail.com. 7 is my lucky number. I was born on February the 17th. I'm one of 7 children. Joshua marched around the walls of Jericho 7 times. Naaman dipped himself in the river Jordan 7 times. lesbrown77@gmail.com. You have something special. You have greatness in you. No matter what you've gone through, no matter what you're dealing with now, don't allow it to define you. No. Greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. They asked Jesus when the kingdom of God come, and he said, the kingdom of God cometh not by. It shall say is neither here or it's there, pointing up and pointing down. The kingdom of God is within you. That kingdom is voice activated. That's why I'm speaking to you now, to activate the greatness that's in you. Bye for now. Bye-bye. Send me some comments to get me fired up. I hope you enjoyed tonight.